Well, it's been a while since I last posted. I thought I'd say hello again and bring you back out to one of my favourite places. Obviously, Forest of Dean. Well, technically this isn't the Forest of Dean. Well, not the Royal Forest of Dean part that everyone goes to and you get all the tourists and everything. This is Staunton Woods, which is a little bit of woods behind the little village of Staunton, right on the border of Wales and England. In fact, there's certain tracks as you go through the forest where on one side is Wales and on the other side is England. But it's the woods that I know the best. It's the slightly smaller set of woods. As I say, it's not the woods that everyone goes to, so I'm less likely to suddenly bump into a crowd of walkers, which is good because I like to not be disturbed, and I also not like to walk along looking all weird, carrying a phone in front of my face, talking to myself or to the phone. So as I was saying, this is High Meadow Woods, or Staunton Woods as I know it. This is the woods I used to come to most as a child. I've been coming to the forest, well, since before my birth, I suppose. Hang on, let me just check where the dog is. Come up! Come on! I can hear him. Ah, come on, boy. So yes, as I was saying, these are the woods I came to most as a child. In fact, having chatted to my mum, I believe the first time I was here as such would have been 2 months before I was born. So that's pretty good going. And the fact is that not only these are my holiday woods as such, but these are now my local woods. I think it took me 15 minutes to drive here. And which way should we go? Main, down the path. We'll go main for a bit, I think. Yeah, it took me about 15 minutes to get here, and then at this point it's about 5 minutes into the woods, and I've really focused on getting to know these woods well. So as you can see over my shoulder, there you go, there, I'm on one of the main tracks of the forest, and I walked all these, got to know them, then started doing all the little filling tracks. There goes the dog. Got to know all the little filling tracks, and now I'd say about half of this forest, because the forest then goes on the other side of the wire as well, about half of this forest I won't get lost in. Occasionally I might not know where I am, but I'm not actually lost. I just have to keep walking through it, and then I get to a point where I go, nah, I know where I am. And I remember coming to this bit, actually the track we're on now, once when I was supposed to be at work, and it was a winter's day, about a month on from where we are now, and the frost was so heavy. I was like, oh, I just have to be in the forest. Hang on, I have to switch hands. Ah, that's better. Sorry, I was getting a stiff shoulder. So I had to kind of phone in, not phone in sick, just phone to say I'd be a bit late, and then come up here and have a walk around, because these woods are just gorgeous. And when they're all covered in frost and snow, as you can imagine, they're even more impressive. So that's where I am. I sadly didn't make it to work today. Well, I made it to work, but through various circumstances I wasn't able to do the garden that I was booked in to do. So back home, do a load of stuff at home, and then come out for the day, take the dog out as usual, give him a run around, and see what we find, see the delights. I mean, oh, he's just like everywhere. Everywhere is beautiful in this forest. Honestly, couldn't be happier. So I've been coming here since a child, which when you grow up in the middle of Birmingham, you can imagine how magical that was. And then to live here, and well, for all circumstances, call these my woods, which is maybe a little bit big of me as such, but often that I come out walking, and if you get up to a certain distance, you won't see anyone. And the good thing actually about the walkers is that most of them are in groups, so they'll be yakking away and you can hear them a long way away, and they're all dressed in purples and yellows and all those kinds of things. And sometimes I bring the dog, sometimes I don't, but at least the dog does also let me know if other people are around, which is helpful. So at the moment we're on our way to an area I used to know called Near Harkening Rock, just above a big old glacial slab which is left in the forest called Suckstone. And if we'll make it today, I have to see what time I've got before I have to get back and pick up the kids and everything. But as I say, it's been a while since I posted a video, so I think what I've got to catch up with really. It's been a busy year, it's been a hot year, obviously. Oh, I wonder where that track goes. Let's go down here for a bit. Up, up. We had the that heat wave of a summer, which I'm sure everyone in Britain will remember, where after a winter that went on till about March, and I think last snow was about middle of March, late middle. Oh, no leaf. That's hazel. We then had about a few weeks of spring before into the heat wave of summer, which then stayed and stayed and stayed. I haven't known a year like this. And now we're hit the autumn, and sorry, I'll show you. Beech forest, beautiful. And yes, I did nearly drop the phone then. So yeah, I had a bit of a hot summer, which is a tough one to work through. Tough for the gardens too, of course. And so I keep walking through spider webs. Oh. You try and avoid them, but there's not much you can do about it. So yeah, it's been a tough summer to work through, and now they're forecasting, well, what I've heard is it's going to be the coldest winter in 8 years. But then when I think about it, I've been gardening for over 2 decades, so it's not actually going to be that bad. It's just the coldest winter we've had for a while, and to be fair, we've had some flipping rubbish winters for a while, other than the one just gone, of course, just very cold. And oh, let's say, there's a little area I'm walking past at the moment. So all this area, you probably can't see, but let's see if we can get one in. Oh, there's a fence post, and then the fence all the way around. There's a couple of these little enclosures. I think this one is possibly Redding's enclosure. And the idea was, this is a bit of a detour I know in the conversation, but you'll get used to it. The idea was that the Forestry Commission have fenced off certain areas. One day I'll take you to one of the older ones. And what they've tried to do is completely leave it, because obviously the Forestry Dean is a managed forest. So they cut trees down, take timber extraction, keep areas clear, because it's a lot of tourism obviously. But areas like this, the idea was to completely leave them, actually see what happens over time, and just see if the forest finds a balance, which will obviously be, you're talking kind of a few hundred years as such, but it'll be interesting to see how it develops, especially some of the older ones. Oh, sorry. I now realise, I knew the detour I was taking, but I now realise that taking you on a detour that involved me coming up a hill means you have to put up with me being slightly out of breath for a while. Right. Let me just see if I can, what the time, I don't know what the time is. I don't know what time it is. I think we've probably got enough time to get to near Hartling Rock, so that'd be nice. I haven't got time to take you to Black Quarry. That'll be for another time. So let's bring you around. The dog's in there somewhere. I don't know why, but the camera's only focusing, or not focusing, on the woods. Ah, there. I can see the dog. Right. Where is it? Oh yes, so we'll get up to near Hartling Rock. You get a good view from there. And actually, on the longest day of this year, during the heat wave, Anna, my wife, and I thought what we'll do is we'll go into the forest, take the hammocks, proper camping hammocks, we'll sleep out on the longest day, shortest night, watch the sun go down, watch the sun come up, and have a bit of a forest time. Now, I've never slept in a hammock before, not outside anyway, and there's a massive boar issue in this forest. I mean, there's a big boar problem in the Forest of Dean as well, the main one, but this is like the highest concentration here, so for that reason I didn't want to be camping on the ground, which is what I normally do. So we took the hammocks, and it was freezing. Heat wave in the day, but because you're in a hammock and the air just flows underneath. Obviously anyone who camps out regularly in hammocks will know all this. But the underneath, it just takes all the heat away from you. Now I'm used to sleeping on the ground, making a bed of leaves, getting myself cosy, being out of the wind, warming the ground below me, all that kind of stuff. Whew. Not so. But I've learned that one. So hopefully next time I'll be a bit more prepared. But as we were dropping off, I could hear kind of over my shoulder the sound of all the deer bedding down for the night. And I was like, oh, that's nice, we've got some deer close by. And they were lying there in his hammocks. I might even be able to show you the spot where we slept. And I started to hear these deer moving around a bit more. And they started like coming down the slope over my shoulder. I was listening to it, I think, oh, making a lot of noise. And then you start to hear like this kind of grunting and snorting. And I had that moment of thinking, yeah, that's not deer, that's boar, that is. Now, where we'd pitched for the night, it was on a bit of a slope, and I was higher up the slope than Anna was, and I could hear all these boar over my shoulder. Now I know their eyesight's not brilliant, and I was off the ground because I know their sense of smell's good, so I was like, you can't smell me, so I was keeping really still. And the next thing we know, we got all these hoglets like underneath the hammocks moving around, ferreting. And at this point, I kind of look over my right shoulder, and there's the biggest fucking boar. It was huge. Because on the slope, it was actually level with me. And this was at about a point in the night that I would call the 4 colours of dusk, where you can still just about make out 4 separate colours, and you got all the dappled light coming through. So there's just this massive beast level with me, rooting around. I can make out like the dappled greys and browns on this, and at one point it obviously sensed something was a bit weird, and it made this like snort and kind of ran off a bit. But not too far, and then the pod slowly moved down the slope as they foraged, and oh, it was amazing. I mean, if only it'd been a bit lighter to see them more, but oh, it was incredible. And it's definitely one of those times where, I mean, I don't get scared in the forest. The forest is like my home. I'm so comfortable here. I absolutely adore the forest. I mean, I'm more at home here than I would be in a city, ever, nowadays. So, I wasn't scared, but flipping hell, I was alert. Oh, I mean, my heart was just going for it. So, yeah, Oh, it's June 21st, or thereabouts. I can't quite remember which side it was. Anyway, this is the point I've got to. Just ahead of me is near Harkening Rock. And I've just got to show you, I mean, look at this forest. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on it. Go on, focus, Mr. Camera. Anyway, so this is the forest around near Harkening Rock. See if we can get a bit of focus. Come on. It's not doing very well, which is a bit of a shame because this is a really gorgeous bit of forest. You might get it at some point. Let me see if I can tilt it. Oh, see, it's on and off, isn't it? This is such a nice piece of forest. It just wants to focus on me. I'm very sorry. You have to put it in my face instead of, well, everything else. I mean, hopefully what we're going to do is we're going to get to these little mini cliffs, and hopefully the view will be wide enough that it will reset the focus a little bit, because this is a gorgeous spot. In fact, actually there's a photo of these rocks ahead of me which I'd show you, but the camera won't focus on it. I know it won't. There's a picture of me on these rocks. Oh, here we go. When I'm about 2, 3, these rocks just down there. And hang on, let me turn around. Now, if my wife is watching this, she won't be happy. In fact, I'll just move my head out of the way. Look at that view. So that's all the beacons, I think, in the distance. And as you can imagine, a good place to watch the sunset. And then there's, well, the drop. And oh, there's Staunton Woods. And this is the small parts of the woods. So there we have it. Oh, I'm in shadow, aren't I? Hang on. Sun, there we go. So that was a little walk with me through the forest. I'll hope you do a few more little videos, keep you up to date. And well, I hope you're all having a wonderful autumn and early winter. Hope your Halloween was good. Or Samhain if you celebrate that instead. And well, have a wonderful time, and I'll speak to you again soon, no doubt. Bye.